everything else be better. And I just remember thinking, like, what if sports fans love to do and, like, what doesn't exist today? And it was interaction, it was engagement, it was conversations lead to so many things, right?
Brand new episode, E on the mic, episode 22. I'm your host, E, aka Ethan, and I have a great guest today that's coming on today's E on the mic episode. He is one of the co-founders of Sportsme. He was born in South Florida, but loves the Pats and Celtics. It is Jeff, the man. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm good, E. Thanks for having me on the show. Been wanting to come on, so I'm glad you invited me. And yeah, I love my New England team. We'll get into it, but I do love my New England teams, and I do love me some South Florida, having born in it's literally the same hospital as you, which is dope as hell.
That's the most craziest thing when you told me the same hospital. I was like, no freaking way.
I know.
I was like, how are you a Patriots fan?
You know,
But I understand that you were there for 1 year and then you moved, so it's all good. It's
yeah. I
all
mean, my
good.
whole family literally is from Massachusetts, and I lived in Florida for 1 year, but
1 year, that was a vivid years, but
oh
you
yeah,
visit, so it's
oh
good.
yeah. I mean, I don't remember shit since it was less than 1 years old, but yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, just me. Like if you
All
want to
good.
live here for like the whole entire year, you gotta deal with hurricanes and stuff like that. So I don't know if you up for that.
Hey, I'll take it over snow. I hate the cold so much. Today was like 60 degrees, and we live in New Hampshire now. We used to live downtown, but I don't know if you've been to Boston, but downtown Boston.
Yeah.
Um, and now we live in New Hampshire, which is like kind of like the woods ish. And freezing all the time in the winter. But hopefully we're over all the cold. Kind of. We'll see.
Man, 50s for me is cold down here. I never even seen snow. Let's put it that
My
way. I never even seen
brother-in-law, my
snow.
brother-in-law in LA, if it's like 65, the dude puts on a jacket. And I'm like, are you serious? It's like 15 degrees here. Yes.
I'd be like that. I'd be like that. I put it in the low 60s. Like I wear a jacket. I'll be freezing my ass off. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But another small time, man. Let me talk about Sportsme. How did it first start out?
Yep.
What was the idea process? How Sportsme came to live? How it is to today?
Yeah. So, a couple different things. So, I'm super lucky. I have amazing, people who I work with, co-founders, all that. Met some cool people, work with some cool people, and it's only going to get better. Sportsme started when I was in Boston, and I was watching my beloved, soon-to-be future NBA champion Boston Celtics, and they were playing the Cavs in this when Kyrie was on the Cavs, and someone it was Eastern Conference Finals, Game 2, and someone, the TNT crew, Barkley and Shaq and Ernie and Kenny get up there. One of them, and I won't say who it is, said something around. He said Isaiah Thomas should never go to the hole when LeBron is in the paint, because he blocked him on that play. And I kind of sat back to myself and said, interesting. Isaiah is a lot of things that he's not great at, but what he is good at is this dude. You remember Isaiah Thomas in his prime?
Yeah.
Was like the best hesitation, pop and stop guy, because that was his game. He had to. The dude's like 5'7". He has to. And I sat back, and I was like, wait a second. You just told 15 or whatever million people that he should never go to the paint, when that's like the thing that he does best. And he cooks everybody with that move. Everybody he cooks. Just because LeBron blocked him one time. And I kind of said, like, who are you to tell me that this is what the reality is? And so I just kind of, like, I remember, like, looked outside and was like, interesting. So I immediately texted 10 friends, just copied and pasted the exact same thing and said, what do you think about this dude saying this about the scenario, and literally all 10 got back to me within 2 minutes, like, I could do better in one way or another. They all didn't say the exact same thing, but I could do better. And I just kind of like thought to myself, like, wow, there's so much that a sports fan has to do. You have watching games, you have betting and fantasy now, you have pictures and images, and like you can like buy stuff, and you can go to games and you can watch on TV. But like, what if there was like another piece of that equation that just wasn't there? What if it fit something like that? What if it fit a small piece of that pie that just helped everything else be better? And I just remember thinking, like, what if sports fans love to do, and like what doesn't exist today? And it was interaction, it was engagement, it was conversations lead to so many things, right? And so that was really the start. Derek, my co-founder, on the app, his perspective was more, he's from San Francisco. The owners fired the coach, and the what is a fan going to do? Really, it's almost seen as like the owners have like a monopoly on your city, right? Like if the Miami Heat trade their best player, you're not going to not be a Miami Heat fan. You're going to be pissed, and you're going to be like, what are you doing? But you're not going to go to the Knicks, right? You're not going to go to another team. So they have a monopoly on your fandom. And so it was kind of this like collision of things. And then it morphed into like, oh, if we did this, and if it was gamified and it was short form like TikTok, and then it was, some other things that we have coming in the pipeline, which are so dope, so dope that are coming. But I mean, that's really the story. And it was truly like fans who wanted more for them and other fans. And we use it ourselves. Like, I'm on Sportsme all day, not because I have to, not because I'm trying to pump something or make our company better. And like, yeah, like we want to do all these things because we love using the app. And if we do all these things, if it turns out to be the valuable thing we think it can be, I mean, you're on the app. We're starting to see that it definitely is the early version of like some really special shit. It'll be awesome. And I'm on all day because I love it. I could talk sports literally 24/7, 365. And, sometimes I love to get into it with people, and that's part of the fun. So,
Yeah, I agree with the app. When I first joined, of course, I was confused. I was like, so how do I work this app? I was like, it's 30 seconds. I don't know. And it was still a time for me when I was still kind of like trying to figure out the talk
yeah,
on face to face, kind of like this. Like I got used to it doing it on Zoom, on the
yeah,
podcasting stuff, on just 30
yeah,
second takes. I'm like, I got frozen. I'm like, okay, yeah, no. But I got a little bit more comfortable on there, and there's
yeah,
some battles that I would love to go on and just go off with some people, and it's very fun, especially when you can go back and forth on somebody.
yeah,
I think that's a great interaction, especially and it can lead to your followers also to come on the app too. So let's say, for example, like I go on TikTok live, right? And I just tell one of my followers, hey, you want to interact with me and other podcasters or other sports fanatics, go on this app and you just say your take, say whatever you feel. For
That is
example,
exactly what one of the goals is if you're a podcaster, right? So here's the reality of, so these are interesting stats. I'll backtrack. 99% of podcasters, just podcasters, not content creators, podcasters in sports, 99% get less than 1% of the money and the distribution. How is that balance, right? How does that even make sense? It's not fair. It is not fair, and it should be the opposite way, but it's not. And then the other reality is that creators, it's so collaborative, right? Everybody wants to collaborate. Like you have to, right? How do you increase your reach? You have to collaborate. Everyone is collabing, but at the same time, it's actually a little competitive. And people collaborate, but they also know like this person might take followers or this person might take whatever. And then monetization, but it's not as like cutthroat as like sports radio. If you have the 10 a.m. slot in Miami and I have a 10 a.m. slot in Miami and we're competing radio stations, we hate each other, right? It's not at that level. But what we found was that like if people could engage together, and for podcasters, that interaction, which literally doesn't exist on any other platform in the world, like the way that Sportsme interaction does.
Yeah.
We think that if you're podcaster X, how are you going to convince people to watch your podcast when they have a zillion other podcasts that they could watch? How do you make them loyal? How do you make them love you? How do you make them constantly think about you? How do you monetize that? How do you grow reach? And we felt that if audience, and that's why I love it, if your audience can come into Sportsme and watch you interact in fun ways anytime they want, it doesn't have to be 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Zoom. It can be anytime, anywhere. That's the power of Sportsme. They can do that. And if they want to, if they're listening to your pod and or like your IG or your TikTok or whatever, YouTube, and they're like, oh, like I hate what you just said, or I love what you just said. I want to talk to you, right? And they're not a guest on your show, which is a whole nother thing, is what having guests on the show. How do they do that? How do they talk to you? They don't. And now they can. And so I love that you experienced that, because that's one of the early things that we made it for. So let's give a round of applause for it works, and it works, and it does what it does, and it's only going to get better. So it's great. I love that.
Yeah, like I see this app a lot of promising, and it's only in the early stages, and you can never know where this app's gonna go. I feel this app's gonna go somewhere big. The way how it's going, the way how it's interaction, of course, everyone wishes that everybody will interact more onto it, like have a second opinion. But always give like a one take, and I was like, whoever's above me, just give a take, and I just say who I thought. Like Robbie, for example, saying the Heat suck.
you come in and you bring it. It's real, right? It's real, authentic. It's like you and your homies on the couch. Sometimes social media is so fake. People say shit just to get likes or comments or clickbait. But if you're next to your friend on the couch talking about the Heat and are they going to cover? Are they going to pull in DFS? Are they going to beat the Bucks? What's going to happen? Who should we trade for? You're just going to be real. It's not going to be fake. It's going to be super authentic and relatable. That doesn't exist in the world, and so that's a part of Sportsme. But just real quick to your point, and then we should talk about some more sports.
Of course.
A little Boston, a little Miami. As we grow, and we're talking to some big partners to hopefully do some stuff with creators. Who do you think it is that we're going to bring into these partnerships for collabs? And when they want 100 creators to have distribution for an entire city, who do you think we're going to go to? We're going to go to the early people who were on Sportsme and who we know. And I have made it my job is like, there's so many things that we're doing. We're a small team. We're raising more money to do more things and build out all the features. I spend a lot of my time, and you know this, talking to creators, meeting creators, befriending creators. And I met so many friends. These are the people that we are going to hook up when it comes to things with athletes and personalities and like local radio hosts or whatever. So I'm excited for that. So the more it grows, the more these early creators are going to feel that love.
Yeah, especially when I tell my other pockers, man, like don't miss out on this. Sportsme, it's something. I'll tell you that. Like I always tell them, like, hey man, you gotta jump onto this, man.
Yeah.
Like, you just took any take. It just takes 15 minutes of your time. Honestly, it doesn't take you
literally
like a podcast. Like podcasts, you gotta put prepping and time and stuff like that. But
actually, it only takes 30 seconds of your time. The rest of it is depending on how much you want to watch and do. And like me, like I'll like if me and you were in a battle, I want to keep going and going and going and going. The problem is like if I'm at work or if I'm with like the baby or like my wife or family, like I'll hop in later because that's what I'm able to do.
Yeah, that's what I do too. That's what I do. I'll be at work or I can't talk right now, or I sometimes forget, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I can do it at night. And
I will tell you because I can't say all the things that we're doing, but one of the things that's dope that we're building is you know how your notification, you know how when you get like a notification that someone joined your battle, it's a little harder right now to manage all of your battles. Other than going to your profile and seeing like what battles you get in, that's how you do it today. We're making it so it looks more like a text chain, so you can see like what battles are open. You know how like when you're on your phone and your text and you get like there's like a little green line that says like, oh, like E I have an open text from E, and I have a closed text from this guy, and like Tori, like my wife, like it's open. I haven't responded to her text. It's going to be really organized. So I'm excited to organize it a little bit more, and it'll be easier and more conducive to joining and replying and all that crap. But
Oh yeah, for sure. But now let's jump into the sports. Now that we can talk about the rivalry of Boston and Miami, let's first talk about Patriots now. Their offseason has been very busy, very busy. Surprising that how much
yep.
Bill Belichick is giving out money, which I was not surprised because they were going to have a lot of money to spend on free agency. But giving those players like Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Aguilar, of all people, I was surprised you guys got Aguilar, even though he's occasional hands, and many more. What do you think right now? What do you think about your Pats right now?
I mean, I'm a diehard Patriots fan. I have been so spoiled over the last, and I'm not saying that as like a condescending thing for a Miami fan like you. We've just been spoiled, but we've been spoiled in like a very specific way. Awesome coach, awesome quarterback. The team always does its thing. They don't spend a ton of money. They fill in the lines with like these guys who just are not underpaid, but like not the biggest free agents. They don't make splashes. It's not
From the
like
grocery stores.
they do that here and there. Like 2007, they got a Dallas Thomas from Baltimore, and he was a beast with the Patriots, and they made it to the Super Bowl. I had no idea what what they were going to do this offseason. I figured that they would like get like a couple people under the radar to balance it out, right? Like, why do you need to spend 17 million on a guy who, if you do the math, you can probably get 3 guys at way less money to do the exact same thing and maybe get like the same production in total. And like Bill Belichick is the best coach ever, maybe for any sport ever, right? So you could, and that's actually a great battle topic. But it's like then like the first free agent fell. I don't know if it was Judon or Smith. I think it was Smith. And I thought like, okay, like Cam actually isn't as bad as everyone thinks he is. They played pretty well last season before he got COVID. They were playing great. Their offense,
it's phenomenal.
When they were running him and Sonny Michel and Harris, who's a fucking monster from Bama, it was so good last season, right? He's going to be the number 1 player this season, the number 1 running back this season. I think he's a top 10 running back for sure, maybe even top 5. The dude is a workhorse, right? And he has energy, and he has that like, that running back acceleration that most dudes just don't have. He has that. He's got like that it factor, right?
Yeah.
But they needed tight ends and they needed receivers. They have all these guys coming back on defense from the COVID list. Like literally, like 4 of our best defensive guys are coming back. We got all these other guys coming back. They get 1 tight end. They get a great defensive player. They get another defensive player. They get another tight end. And it's like, wow. If you have a good running game, a great defense, and guys who can surround a quarterback who doesn't need to throw 60 yards or 50 yards every time, and these guys can catch the ball and they're physical, and like Smith and Henry are actually good blocker tight ends, right? They're blocking tight ends too. That's what Gronk was so good at. And Bill Belichick has shown you give him 2 good tons quarterback. Obviously, Tom Brady's the best ever, but like, a cut like Aguilar and what's his name from San Francisco. You mix him with Myers, who was underrated. Bird is underrated. Edelman is older and like obviously a little injury prone, but like you also have Harris. They might sign someone else. They still have like 20 million left or something. Who knows? Like this team, and I know you're a Miami fan. I think that this team and I was actually kind of hyped for Miami. I was like, I love the quarterback. I think the team is great. I hate the Bills so much, and I don't.
I hate the Bills. I hate their fan base.
I hate their fan base. I hate their team. I hate their face. I hate their uniform colors. I hate the
smashing the table.
I hate the white uniforms with the yellow. It's so ugly. I hate the cold that they have. It's colder than Boston.
Oh my god.
But I think honestly, they are going to be better than the Bills, and they're going to be better. I think they're going to win the AFC East, and it's not even. I think that like the Bills got a little bit worse because they lost like 2 or 3 guys already to free agency.
Yeah,
they got Emmanuel Sanders, so like yeah, they'll be good. But I think I almost just said the Celtics. I think the Pats are going to be better, and who knows? I mean, like Patrick Mahomes still is alive. So,
Oh my gosh.
so like, how are you going to beat our guy Andrew Wiley, who was on Sportsme last night? And can you join that battle, by the way, with Wiley?
Which was the take? Because I always do a lot of takes and I forget which one was that take.
Thoughts on, dude, Wiley. This is one of the best things about Sportsme, and some of the stuff that is coming. Athletes talking about the sports they play in a way that they can, right? So Wiley came on. So another NFL player, Dalton Crossan, came on and he asked, "What are your thoughts on NFL free agency?" Dude, Wiley is a current player. He went in and he gave real card hold facts on what's happening in free agency, and like that was like,
Oh no, I didn't. I don't think I went on that battle yet. I think it was probably one of the battles I did not get into.
I'm gonna find it right now as we're talking. Just as we're talking, I'll do this silently. But yeah, man, I think the Pats are gonna be good again. I think Cam is gonna be good. Can I guarantee that? You know, I can't guarantee it.
So you're saying the Pats are gonna be?
There's Dalton, played in the NFL. And then,
yeah, I think I remember that. I didn't do the
Alex Monaco on the Colin Cowherd network. You know that Monaco was on Colin Cowherd's network, right?
Really?
Yeah, he's big time. And then Wiley hops in.
What's up, Big Doll? Andrew Wiley here. We got a great battle going today.
He's the best.
You just say,
yeah, that's crazy, Jeff.
Boys that got their tender contracts today. Congratulations. Patriots adding two elite tight ends to their offense. I think Cam's going to have a great year. I think that's going to be a completely different team.
So you get the point. So that was fun. It's fun. It's fun to hear athletes talk about like other players in like a nice way and not being like no one's going to come in and be like, yo, this dude sucks. Like I'm playing this dude next week. He's a bitch. He sucks.
You don't want to put motivation to the guy.
Fans have the wrong expectation of what that should be like, and that's why we think at Sportsme we're going to change the way that relationship can happen. Also, please tell me why the Bucks are still losing by 11 to Philly without they are the worst. Seriously?
Hey, it still proves my sports betting.
No, dude, Milwaukee Bucks are the worst good basketball team I've ever seen.
Oh, that's why they choke against the Heat, but it's okay. But that'll be another take. Let me finish the Pats. Let me say my take on the Pats. You think the Pats can go more than 8 wins? You can see that, right? Or no?
Easily. I think they're going to win 11 or 12.
11 or 12.
Depends on the schedule, because I think they have a weaker schedule because they had a weaker season.
I can see that. Well, it's gonna be 7. It might be 17 games, so we'll never know.
Oh, is it gonna be 17 games?
They're putting it up in the air. So
is the schedule out yet? I don't think the schedule is out yet.
No, it comes out next month. In the middle of April. But I think the Patriots, from looking at this offseason, they're showing they're gonna get some weapons for Cam Newton finally, because Cam Newton was getting clobbered. Like there was games, like you said before COVID, he was looking phenomenal. I was like, damn, they're gonna be good this year. I can't believe this. But then once he got COVID, all of a sudden he didn't look the same. And then he started with one of the worst passing ratings I've ever seen in my life. The 49ers game, that was traumatic. That was like horrendous.
Oh, and they should have won that game. The problem is, and like Jason Tatum, just because I know this because he's another Boston sports player. When he got COVID, he said that it's still kind of making him a little sluggish. And so he's been playing a little sluggish. And I think like when certain people get COVID, whether you're a pro athlete or not, obviously it hits you harder if you're a pro athlete. But whatever.
It just affects you differently.
But like it hits people differently, and it makes people sluggish, and it makes people like react differently to like what like physically for the next coming months, and like maybe that happened to Cam. I don't know, but I know that something changed after that. Like, remember they almost beat
Seattle.
They almost beat Seattle. They almost beat the Chiefs too. They almost beat the Chiefs, and then they screwed it up royally in like the worst way that you could ever screw up a game. And I hope that.
Oh my god!
That was
remember when you guys thought Jarrett Stidham was the guy? He ain't the guy no more.
I did not say that. Let's keep.
Oh well, there were some Pats fans that would say that Jarrett Stidham was the guy, which I was kind of funny. But
well, you also have to remember that Boston fans are very like so loyal, that we are so diehard. Like, if we have a quarterback, we support him, right? We support him. We also talk a little shit, but we also have had Tom Brady. So like, any
Yeah,
Bucky
Tom Brady
fan
for 20
who
years.
ever talked about Tom Brady negatively would be chastised and thrown in jail. Also, you're an idiot if you ever had negative anything about him. So, like, you know, we're not used to like bashing quarterbacks. So
It's something new for you. For me, it's still the same. It's same old, same old.
damn, I mean, not making the playoffs was new for me. Not making the Super Bowl was new for me.
Welcome to my life. But just to finish off the off season for the Pats, I think it's great signings from them. They got two
Yeah.
former Dolphins that came in there, such as Ted Karras, that was a former Pats, finally coming back for a year, especially since you guys lost the center to the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. And then you got Dave Guchoks, which is a defensive tackle.
I don't really know him that well. Is he a beast?
He's all right. He hasn't been that, like, high expectations.
Those are the type of guys though that usually play well in New England.
Oh yeah, somehow, some way. Every time, any Miami Dolphins fan that players that goes to the Patriots does good. You see it.
That's true. That is definitely true.
You got a lot of gems there, and we just get
Miami's gonna be good. Like I think Tua is great. You know, again, there's still a chance that you guys trade for Deshaun Watson.
I wish I don't.
You don't want that?
Nah, I'm probably the only Finns fan that doesn't want to see that happen. There's probably a couple of them want to see it. I don't personally want to, because
maybe.
the way the trade is, they probably have to put in Howard, and I don't want to get rid of Howard. Like, trust me, I would love Watson, but I just don't want to get rid of the draft picks, because you got to think about who they're surrounding Watson with wide receivers. All you got is Parker and maybe Preston Williams if he's healthy. Everybody else, it's and then you're losing a lot of options, and then it's back to the same situation as what the Houston Texans was dealing with Watson. Don't got no weapons.
No, I know.
What weapons are gonna give him?
I know.
And we don't have a lot of money like that, so it's not like, okay, first year we're gonna have Watson going to the Super Bowl. No, it's gonna be the same thing what he was dealing with Houston. So it will be a horrible.
Well,
trade.
I mean, you guys would be better than Houston, a lot.
Oh
better.
Yeah, no, but like, you just need weapons. That's it. We just need weapons. Our tight ends are secured. I think tight ends position is good, but our wide receivers and maybe another running back.
Yeah,
I know we got Malcolm Brown from free agency, but hey,
okay,
he's all right. But I would still drive another running back for the future wise.
Yeah.
Najee Harris, for example, I would love to see Najee Harris. He's kind of similar to Derrick Henry, what everybody's been talking about. So I would love to see Najee Harris or Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith, one of the three.
Yep.
But let's get into NBA, man. Let's get to the NBA. Your Boston Celtics, the 6th seed, although they're going to play the Cavaliers tonight, which that should be a W for you guys.
They're down. I'm watching right now. They're down 35-25. Typical Celtics basketball this year.
Come on.
They don't care.
The Heat beat them last night, and they didn't have no problems with them.
They should have won last night.
The Heat beat them, so that's all good. But if the Cavaliers beat
the Celtics should have beat Utah last night, and they lost. And they should have won that game. They're losing all these games they should win.
But that answer I will ask my question. Why is the Celtics struggling? Why is that? Why have they been struggling? They started out high, and all of a sudden now they're all struggling.
Because I think they haven't had all their guys together for that many games. Kemba is a little inconsistent, but he's getting better. I do think the difference maker has been Williams at center has been a monster. Tice is great, but there's no upside. I think like when Williams comes in, the dude is 6'11". He blocks everything. He rebounds. Dude, he had 17 points and 16 rebounds the other night and like 3 blocks. Like that's like Rudy Gortat numbers, right? And so we'll see. I mean, like, you know, Jason Tatum had COVID. Brown was out. You know, bench players. But here's what we need. They need to make a move. Everyone knows it. They need to get, in my mind, I'd love to see Drummond, maybe Drummond. I don't even know anymore because Williams is playing well. Drummond or Harrison Barnes or even like on the Cavs, JaVale McGee as like a backup center. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Harrison Barnes. I'd love to see Jeremy Grant, although I hear rumors that Detroit may not want to get rid of him, although, like, why? Like, you have no hope on anything. And literally the worst team in the NBA. And you know, you could get, like, Miles Turner, maybe, but I don't even know if I love that. Like, Oladipo actually could be a good fit. They need a bench scorer. Everybody needs a bench scorer, but they need another bench scorer. because Peyton Pritchard has been shooting 40% from three. The dude is awesome, but they need someone else for sure.
Yeah, I was surprised how Boston's been struggling, and then those games that you should win, and they're not even playing their fullest.
So typical. Now they're down 40-26. Like, it's so typical.
Come
They don't
on,
care.
it's
It's
the
like they don't
Cavs.
care.
It's not the early Cavs where they were beating the Nets like two games, and they were already hyped up to just go right back to the down seeds, which that's about to happen to the Knicks. The Knicks are an 8 seed, and they're going down a little bit after the All-Star break. So
the Knicks aren't making the playoffs. I don't know who ever thought Knicks were making the playoffs. But I'm looking at the standings right now.
Pretty sure the Knicks are 8th seed right now.
I'm looking at it right now. The Knicks are 8th. The Bulls are half a game back. The Pacers are 1.5 games back. The Raptors are 1.5 back. Even the Wizards are at 13. They're only like 4.5 games back. But also, like, the Celtics are only 7.5 games back. The Heat are 6 games back. The Bucks are 2.5 games. You can make up those games in no time. But we'll see. We'll see. And then in the end, then you have the West. Who knows? The Lakers are sliding like crazy.
Yeah, it shows that they need Anthony Davis back. That's what it shows for the Lakers, that they need Anthony Davis desperately in order to put a playoff push.
There is no championship without AD. That is no championship without AD.
LeBron can't win it by himself. Let's put it that way. LeBron cannot win it by himself.
Not with that group of Jags.
Hell no. If Miami could beat the regular season without Anthony Davis, they definitely need Anthony Davis back.
Oh, dude. I mean, I have no idea about Miami. I like the Trevor Ariza trade. I actually kind of think the Celtics should have made that move, but they didn't. But him and like Andre, he's a little bit of like Andre Iguodala. Like, they kind of do the same thing. But dude, Trevor Ariza is a good player. I just don't know if the Heat have enough. Like last year, a couple things worked in their favor to get to the finals. I don't know if those things will happen again. But we'll see. I mean, they're a good team. Jimmy is a good player, and
we have still a good supporting cast. I think our supporting cast is finally getting back, because I know we struggled early. We were like almost like the worst in the whole NBA record. Everyone was bashing me.
Not to get political, but what is everyone in Miami saying about what's his name, who just got traded?
Miles Leonard?
Yeah.
What about Miles Leonard? It's a mixture, like. It's kind of like a little mixture, but it was kind of expecting, because Miles Leonard, he's out.
Well, I mean, that's such like Southern Florida is such a big Jewish community. It's like,
yeah, which it was strange, because like I would never thought he would say something like that. Like he was like a player that was very supportive. You can tell what you just see on Sports Center, getting him hyped up and everything. I would never think he would say something like that. Like, of course, you're an athlete and you say this on Twitch. It's like.
Not smart.
The mindset, and then even saying it is even bad. So it's like it's still bad either or. So
dude, that is a sure thing to lose every sponsorship and brand deal you have.
Oh yeah, just saying that word, which I'll never repeat that. I didn't even know what that word was when it first started. When they said that, I was like, what does that word even mean? I don't even know.
Maybe he did. Yeah, I mean, people say he didn't know what the meaning was, but who knows?
How would you not know the meaning of the word when you say it? It's like you heard the word before.
Who knows?
That's a funny excuse. That's just
I haven't. There were a couple battles about it on Sportsme, but some of the political ones I try and stay away from, just because
he was out and he wasn't doing much productive this season, so
he's not that good anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, like he's good, like coming off the bench, but not as a starter. He's only a starter.
Like, what does he really do for the team?
Nothing much besides trying to be a center.
I mean, Trevor Ariza is like much better and can guard more people and all these things.
That's true. I still miss kind of Jay Crowder, but we're getting back into the original Heat, so I still miss Jay Crowder. That's how the Suns are almost at 1 seed. So
yeah, I mean, you think that will last with the Suns? You think they can? If AD is out, well, let's put it this way: if AD is out, do you think that the Suns have a legit chance to win the NBA Finals?
No. I'm gonna say that no. I don't know. I don't see the Suns going like far. Maybe like the second round.
If AD is out, who do you see winning the title? Who are like the 3 or 4 teams that you think will win a title? Like, legitimately win a title, and don't say the Bucks. Please God, don't say the Bucks.
The Bucks and they're not gonna make it a championship. Let's put it that way. Listen, they lost to us. I don't know how many times to us, so it's all good. Well, we beat them. They lost to the Raptors the other year when everyone was praising the Bucks were going to make it. So what is
swept.
this? Yeah, and we almost swept them. So hell no with the Bucks.
So who are you taking? Who do you think?
Right now, I kind of like the Jazz. I want to see how they do in the playoffs. I know the Jazz right now, they gained all the hype. I kind of want to see them there.
I mean, you can't hate on it though. They do have the best record.
True. I like that. I like the 76ers. I like the Nets.
You really think that the 76ers, and I Joel Embiid is great. I know Joel. I'm friends with his manager, so I've met him a bunch. But do you really think that they can win? I'm not saying they can or they can't. And I'm not saying this as a Celtics fan. Do you really think when the NBA slows down and you have a point guard who can't shoot in the playoffs, you have to be able to shoot. You have to be able to hit outside shots because you can't just camp out and like Joe, you give it to Joe, he'll score 100 versus the Nets, right? They can't stop him. But I don't know.
I think the 76ers can make a push in the playoffs, deep down in the playoffs. I could see that. I could really see that where they can go stretch down, maybe possibly to the championship to represent the East. It's probably going to go down with the Nets and the 76ers.
Joel's a beast, right?
I think Joel, and he's been talking about MVP conversation a lot. So I think Joel.
I hope he does, because according to my DraftKings wallet, I may or may not win some more money if Joel MVP.
I don't know. That stock's kind of going a little bit down since he's injured right now. But
I took LeBron and Joel as MVP favorites because if either of them hit, I end up being up anyway. And I feel like it's going to be one of them. It's not going to be anybody else.
No, I know Dame's getting that conversation, but I don't think Dame's going to get it in the end. It could be. I'm hoping for the 76ers, but deep down, I still want my Heat to come to represent as the East again.
It can't be KD, too, because KD literally has two other All-Stars on his team.
James Harden and Kyrie. But I think what's going to be trouble with the Nets in the playoffs is when it comes down to defensively in those games will be crucial. I think that's what's going to kill them with the Nets. They're doing good right now, but I think the playoff pressure is going to really show. And Harden does not do good.
You've seen my battles and the hate I get.
I know. You give a lot of hate to the Nets.
I just they don't play defense, and they've gotten a little bit better at it. But
they got a little bit better. They probably shocked a lot of people when they play a little defense. But I think that defense it's gonna be the real test in the playoffs.
I'm looking at it right now. They are giving up 150. I'm looking at opponents' points per game. Let's see. So the Heat are actually second overall in defense and for points per game. The Celtics still give up the fourth least amount of points. 76ers are third, which is interesting. Nets are literally second to last at 115 a game. That is a lot of points. That's a lot of points.
It's a lot of. That's what I mean. Like the Nets, I feel like the Nets are going to get in trouble once playoff time comes, especially since James Harden is not really clutch in the playoffs, and it shows. And Kyrie is not a leader. Let's put it that way. Kyrie. That's why if there's KD and Kyrie, yeah, that will work. If Kyrie is the main man, he's not the main man. You seen in Boston?
Hell no.
You seen it in Boston?
He cannot be the main man. If he's the main man, your team might not even make the playoffs.
No, you probably get swept like when you guys play against the Bucks. So in that series, man.
No, it was 4-1. They won the first game.
Almost a sweep.
They won the first game by 26 points, and I was like, "Oh shit, we're gonna."
Yeah, and then Paul Pierce kind of screwed you guys with that take.
Hey, Paul Pierce is my favorite player ever, so watch yourself.
Hey, yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that. Paul Pierce was saying that he was better than Dwayne Wade, so we ain't gonna talk about that one. You was not about to say Paul Pierce is better than D Wade right now.
You know what?
Oh, he's just gonna try to piss me off.
No. I'm not gonna piss you off. Here's what I'm thinking.
Come on.
I'm gonna do a battle while we're on here.
All right.
What up, Sportsme verse? I'm on the pod right now with E on the mic. Literally, say what up, E.
What's good, guys?
And we're just talking, and we want to know: is Paul Pierce better than Dwayne Wade overall? Who's the better player? I'm going Paul Pierce. And I actually think that you could argue he's a better player than Dwayne Wade overall. What do y'all think? Let's go. I'm getting back to this pod.
Man, wait until I get off this pod.
That's the power of Sportsme. You can just drop it anytime. But I'll put this on mute as I do this topic. But I love Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is such a great player. I actually really like
Wade County.
Yeah, Wade. He's a great player, and I always like his game. His game was so gross, right? His game, so it's so different than Paul Pierce, right? They're such different players. That's why it's hard to like compare.
True.
Dwayne Wade was like super, 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 super athletic. Could do a little bit of everything. Paul Pierce was very like methodical, could do everything, but he wasn't super athletic. He wasn't going to dunk on your face. But his first step, watch out. He had one of the best first steps I've ever seen because he was slower. So and his shot was so clutch. Paul Pierce was just, and Dwayne Wade too, obviously.
Yeah, D-Wade was clutch too. Don't forget about that. D-Wade was clutch too at times. So don't get
Totally. Just writing in this battle.
Hey, I'm just saying. I understand. I know people was like, "Why do you put championships over a player?" But I'm just.
How many did Wade had? Wade had 3, right?
Yeah, I got 3 rings.
It's funny. It's funny. I always expected Dwayne Wade would go the route of some of those players who went to LA on like a 1-year deal, just to try and win a title, like Gary Payton and Karl Malone. And Karl Malone. No, I know. But I thought he might do it again. Just to like play with LeBron or something. But
I think he tried to do that at the Cavs, but they know that wasn't working. The best way to bring it back here.
Wade's problem, and it's not his fault. Those knees.
Oh yeah, the knees were coming down. I know.
Which like, and it happened early too, which is like kind of frustrating as an NBA fan because if Dwayne Wade never got injured, right? If he never got injured, he was so talented. Who knows? He lost so many years of basketball, and he wasn't as great in his prime as like other guys were. I mean, you could argue like he was on his pathway to like Kobe Bryant status.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. If it wasn't for his knees, he would definitely.
And then it was the ankles, and then it was like this and that. But Dwayne Wade, man, he's elite. I don't know where I'd put him all time. I have no idea where I'd put him all time.
I have no idea where I put him all time.
Like definitely top 50, 100%. He'd probably top 30 because he didn't win 3 titles, so probably top 30. I mean, he might be top 20. Like, I don't know. On the battle, drop that. I literally don't even know where you'd put him. That's such a hard question to ask.
It's a hard question. You're not gonna get everyone
subjective.
To agree with you with that. So,
like,
it just depends.
It just depends. Doing the top 5 all time is hard enough.
Oh yeah, because anything you say is like, wait, why are you having him at 4 instead of 2? It's frustrating. Why do you have him top 5? It gets some fun battles.
Yeah.
But Jeff, I appreciate you coming on the pod, man. I really do appreciate it.
Man. Thanks for having me for sure. And I'll see you in the verse.
Will do. Thank you guys for listening to E on the Mic, episode 22. I'm your host, E, and I'll see you next time, episode 23, on another special guest. Till then, stay tuned.